Evening, Nigel. You're okay?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Good. I've got flashbacks to when we spoke in lockdown, which seems like an absolute eternity ago, but it was only 4 years ago. But that's
Yeah,
when we last spoke.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, time flies, isn't it? I'm afraid.
It
But
does.
a different location with the camera tonight. We're having the kitchen rework, so yeah, we're
So
upstairs today.
people liked your kitchen there last time from memory. There was some comments
Yeah,
about your nice kitchen.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's not so nice at the moment. It's all covered over, so it's a bit of a building site.
Anyway, but let's not feature the kitchen in this time. That's all good. Right. Okay, so we're talking to you tonight because you're back in a Formula One stock car this weekend at Skegness. How long is it since you last raced, like competitively, and did a full season?
Well, the last time I did a full season was 2017,
Yeah.
and then obviously the rules changed, so I didn't start the next year. Then I did a bit in 18, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I came back for the UK Open whenever that was, and then I raced the semi-final at Skeggy. No, what was it? The World Championship at Skeggy, didn't I?
Yeah.
When Stuart won.
Yeah.
So that was half a season really, or probably not really fully committed then. And then the last time I raced would have been Bradford.
Yeah.
Again, the World Final.
Yeah.
So I don't know when that was, 21 or 2.
Yeah. 21 wins. Yeah.
21, yeah.
Yeah.
So not turned a wheel since. So
No.
it'd be a bit strange.
See, the thing is, it doesn't feel that long to me. It doesn't feel that long ago that you stopped racing. But actually, when you talk about it, you've been away for quite a while.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's obviously the way the rules are, you can't change too much. So the equipment's not really moved forward any much. But obviously the people I was competing with are still doing it. So they've obviously improved, I'd imagine. So it's going to be tough for me to roll back in and try and compete with those guys.
Yeah, I can imagine. Right, so let's just go back in time again. So both cars sold. Tarmac car went to Hannah Chapel. Shell car, I think, went to Callum Gill.
Yes.
So both cars sold.
Yeah.
Was the intention when the cars had gone to have a break from racing? Because obviously there's all this talk about you've got new cars in build at different stages. Was it kind of I'm going to have a break, or was it actually the car sold and get on with the new ones?
Well, the biggest thing that changed things was that my lad Fred started racing, so then you can only be in one place at a time. So he started karting, so there wasn't really a plan. Obviously, I stopped racing, sold the equipment, but then I still had these two cars that were unfinished that I sat there with a value to them and no good in bits. So the plan would have been always to finish those, but in terms of racing and when, there was no plan.
Yeah. So just kind of like a break kind of naturally occurred with your son's sort of go-karting career sort of taking off, and actually I'm going to focus on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there was no sour grapes or no problems or no issues with the sport. It was just literally Fred started racing and I'd got a lot of money tied up in the cars. So move them on while they're sat in the garage.
Yeah, of course. So at Gala night last year, I was walking to the pits and I saw a bloke and I was like, that looks like Nigel Green, that. And then thought no more of it. And I think I watched Harry's vlog and you were on it. I'm like, so it was Nigel Green at Skegness at Gala night last year. And was that the kind of first time you'd been sort of back to Formula Ones?
I went to a meeting this year. I'm not sure if that's the one you're on about. I can't remember.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it was the start of this year. Nigel.
Yeah, Good Friday. Was it Good Friday? Yeah, that's it. Sorry,
that's right.
It was cold, so I think it. Yeah.
We were racing at the weekend in Newark, so it was like we were at a loose end on the Friday, so we went to watch. So it's nice to see old faces and people you compete with, you make friends with and stuff like that. So it's nice to have a look around the pits and a chat and start talking, and you have a beer, and then before you know it, we better have another go at this, and then here we are.
So my question, I suppose, was did that rekindle your interest?
A little bit, yeah. It's a good sport, isn't it? Like some of the stuff you see, like you guys are putting on at the moment on Facebook, like some of the racing and stuff like that, obviously whets the appetite, and you think, I'd like to be involved in some of that. So it's I think you're either a stock car racer or you're not really. So if you see a race like that, you're like, well, we need to have another go at that and have a laugh.
So, so you're referring to the Grand National one we've just put on tonight?
Yeah.
Which, an epic stock car race that was.
It was good, yeah. It was just proper racing, wasn't it, really? Like, everyone finished, I think who was it? Frankie or someone, I think, lost a spring or what have you. But other than that, everyone sort of made it to the finish line. Nobody following anyone in, but just proper hits and what everyone wants to see.
Yeah, good. So kind of, sorry, not gone out. I keep saying gone out. I think it's because it was so cold, Nigel. I think that's what it was on that Good Friday. It was so damn cold. I just think it must have been in the last season. But anyway, so you went to Skegness this year, rekindled a little bit of interest, and then kind of get to this weekend, UK Speed Weekend, and you've been offered the use of a car. So how did that kind of come about?
Well, basically, my car's just finished, just had some exhaust put on it, and it's pretty much complete other than a few bits and pieces, really, a shale car. So it just needs brake lines, etc. So it needs a couple of days on it, then it'd be ready to go. So I was just having a ring around to see who wanted to have the name on the car, basically, and I thought of Jamie Davidson, because he's never sponsored me before, and he was interested, and I've got to know Luke a fair bit more because of Alfie races go-karts, so I spent a little bit more time with him. So I thought I'd give Jamie a call, and he was interested in having his name on the car. So that was that. And then 10 minutes later, he rang me back and said, am I interested in having a go in one of his cars at this Skegness weekend? Because some other bloke that used to drive for him or drives for him called Rob, he's supposedly working this weekend, so he can't do it. So he wants... I think he likes watching his cars go around, don't he? So he's offered me to have a go around in one of his. So here we are.
Excellent. So because Rob raced one of Jamie's cars, wasn't he? Was in the Skegness Raceway livery. Is that the one that you're using this weekend?
No, it's not actually. No, it's the white car that the freshest one out of their bunch, I suppose. Really. So when they said what cars they've got and who's doing what, I thought, well, I'd probably fit in Tom's one better. As I'd call it, Tom's one, but I'm gonna have a go in that one.
Excellent. And I guess practice or anything, or are we going Saturday first sitting and away we go?
Well, I actually read the newsletter, which I don't usually do stuff like that. When I was sat on the plane earlier, and there is no practice on this weekend, so that's not ideal. I did have a roll around in it a week or so ago, though. Do a few laps to see if I fitted in it, which I did, but not as well as I'd like to. So I have had a go, but I'd like to have another go before a race, definitely.
Okay, because it's going to be, like you said right at the beginning, I suppose, new car to yourself, you've been away for a while. It might take you a little bit of time just to kind of readjust to Formula 1 stock car racing.
Well, it's totally different to all other motorsport, isn't it? Like, as soon as that green flag goes, it all just kicks off. And if you start at the back, which I'm still a superstar, I'm told, so you haven't got time to faff about. So you got to just get stuck straight in, and not get stuck in, but you got to crack on. So it would have been nice to have a roll around beforehand, but I think I just need to not expect too much. Have a roll around, see how the pace is and how it's going, and then sort of take it from there. Really. It's a long weekend, isn't it?
It is. And I guess the only trouble you potentially have is that, you are Nigel Green, and there's kind of a bit of an expectation on your shoulders from, I guess, people watching that you are going to suddenly turn it back on again. I suppose, that's a compliment. Thanks. But I put pressure on myself, and obviously the car's been successful, and I have, but it's two totally different things, really. I've never driven a car of that style, so to speak. It's got a lot of different bits on it that my one didn't have, and I just got to know my cars, and I had that car for however long it was, 6 years. So it was like putting an old pair of slippers on. This is completely new. Everything's in a different place and does different things to what my one would do. So it's going to definitely take a bit of figuring out whilst I'm driving around, getting rattled about what lever does what, or what I should be doing. It'll be fun though. It's gonna be fun.
It'll be right. It'll be fine, won't it?
Yeah, I think so. I guess the big question that everyone wants to know is what is the plan after this weekend?
Well, regarding borrowing cars off Davidson, there isn't a plan at all. It was just have a go around this weekend. So there's no sort of long term plan or anything been discussed there. I've obviously got my own cars that I want to get finished off. So I've got a shale car, which, like I say, is about there. So I need to get that done and then put some miles on that and get it going how I want it to. So I'll race that around Fred's fixtures, which are flat out. So I don't know exactly when I can do my first shale meeting in that car. But yeah, going forward is once the shale car's done, then start getting the tarmac car down, because that's a long way off. Try and put this back on. Get the tarmac car somewhere near, and then hopefully, I doubt it's going to be done this year, but hopefully next year that'll be ready to race, and we can have 2 cars, and when it suits us, we'll get out and go and see how we get on.
Yeah, and I guess from what I hear, then it's potentially a more sort of balanced approach, not week in, week out. It's kind of other things that are kind of going on, and when you can race.
Yeah, exactly. Like Fred's flat out with his karting, and Millie's dancing, and like we're a family, so we have to try and divide the time the best we can. Fortunately, Fred's keen for the stock car racing as well, for whatever reason. I think he was a bit young when I was going at it properly, so he wants to come and watch me race a little bit, so that'll be good to get him more involved. But yeah, I can't see me, well, I'm definitely not going to be at it full time like I was, but it'd be nice to just race as and when, with no stress or pressure, but turn up with some good kit that's capable of winning. Yeah,
and enjoy it, which is kind of absolutely key, isn't it? Kind of before you start racing, and you have had an incredibly successful Formula 1 career, world, European, points, you've held those. When I was talking to Stuart Smith Jr. at Bradford earlier this year, we interviewed him and his son, because his son's in the micros,
right?
And we were talking about Formula 1 stock car racing in its current state, and he said that it does miss you, and that in his opinion, he felt that if you'd have continued and not stopped, you would be a dominant force, if not the dominant force in the sport at the current day. Do you kind of think there is a bit of truth in that statement? It's a very big statement for Stuart to make. Do you kind of go, actually, potentially could have been, or
well, like I say, you learn, don't you? So you gain more experience, and we did get going well. So once people are used to you winning races or overtaking them, it all becomes a little bit easier, really, that you're not fighting everyone trying to make a reputation for yourself. But yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it? But I would have liked to be running up the front still, for definite. So I don't really know how to answer it, but I guess we'd still be trying to win the trophies.
Yeah, no, it's a difficult one to answer, and I get that. I thought it was quite an interesting point that Stuart had made, and obviously absolutely relevant for when we're talking, because you've had that gap, and actually what could it have led to potentially if it had continued.
Yeah, well, it's a job to know, isn't it? Like once you have won some big titles, it's like what are you striving for next, really? So once you have won and been consistently up the sharp end, then where do you take it, really? And like I say, I keep mentioning Fred. He doesn't want to just watch his dad race for the next 20 years, does he? He needs to make his own name, and I can't be selfish and not put some time into him. So let's see where he goes. He might want to race a stock car in a few years' time, or carry on go-karting, or whatever. Who knows? But we'll see.
Yeah, good. A couple more things before I let you go. You've kind of looked at Formula 1 again. You've mentioned it a little bit. Do you think it has changed much at all since you've been gone? You've still got kind of Tom up there, you similar names, Frank, Matt, Lee. The names are there, aren't they? In terms of the sport itself, does it look to have changed much?
I don't think so. No, I think it's the same it always has been. I think with what I see now, with what you guys are putting together, the publishing side of things, it's being promoted more professionally now, and it highlights what the sport can do and how exciting it is. So that side of things has changed. But in terms of the sport in general, I don't think there's been no rule changes that I'm aware of. So I think it is what it is. It's the basics are right, aren't they? That the faster people start at the back. It's short races. It's kids can watch it with a short attention span, and it's just good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very good. It is very good. There might have been rule changes. You need to read that newsletter. Sophie's going to be very disappointed when she watches this interview back and she's like, right, I write this newsletter.
No, I think I've got my head around the rules.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Yeah. Last question. We're 2 days away from Skegness. How are you feeling about the weekend?
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, like I say, I'm not. There's no pressure really, so I just want to go and crack on and see how we look in the middle of the first heat. I'm sure there'll be a lot of changes I want to try and make, but yeah, I'm just looking forward to a weekend away. Yeah, should be good.
It will be. Nigel, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate when you got back from holiday this evening. So lovely you've kind of fit us in, and good luck this weekend at Skegness.
Thank you very much. Yeah, see how we go.
Perfect. Thank you.